Hello and welcome to the SaturdayMP Show, episode number 45, being recorded mostly live on May 20th, 2024. This is a show about shipping secure, high-quality software faster, and we do that mostly through kind of live coding demos. Mostly live. There might be some slight minor edits depending on what it is, but I try to keep the live coding as live as possible, just so people get an idea of what it's like to be an actual developer and some of the highs and lows. If you're looking for a quick 5-minute video about how to do something, probably switch over to some other channel. Usually the videos end up being half an hour to an hour, so it's probably what this one will be too. I'm your host, Chris, and today we're going to take a look at this AI kind of tool called Sweep. And it's supposed to help you create PRs and review your PRs, and just kind of, I guess the idea, the basic way to describe it is just create an issue in GitHub and it will create all the code for you. It'll make changes to your project and do the files and everything. I think it's a lot like if, what is it that Devin? I think it was Devin. Yeah. So, which they're calling a little AI engineer. This one they call this is probably a better description of junior developer. But basically stuff that you can just write human level descriptions and it will create the code for you. And so I tried a little bit of this the other day because this one was free to use and just installed in GitHub. So if you watch some of the previous videos, I've been playing around with Migrator, an old application I wrote to migrate to run database migrations. So I've been updating it because a client might need it here, as I originally wrote it for this client a long time ago. So, excuse me. And in previous versions, I updated, that PR is closed now, but I updated the SQL management objects in the .NET framework and stuff like that. That I did all manually. But then the other day, I was reading about this Sweep AI, and I thought, oh, let's see what happens when I try it. So I created, did I create an issue for this too? Yeah, so I created this issue here, Sweep. So I said this, and Sweep actually put these little emojis in for some reason, and then it created a PR for me. So I just basically described this. I wanted to use get version to calculate the next version number, and then the Sweep AI basically went through and decided this is the steps it's going to do. It's going to create a get version file. So this is get version. This is what I use quite often in a lot of my other projects to set up automatic versioning. Get version config file, which looks pretty close, I think, to correct. I haven't gone through this in great detail. I didn't have a chance. But I don't think I'm going to merge this one. I don't want to spend a video going through this one. I'm going to spend a video creating a couple other ones, because for this project, I don't really have an automated test suite yet. So I think that's going to be the first thing that I create. And I'm going to try and do with Sweep AI, which may or may not go well. So it might be a huge disaster. I mean, the video will be Sweep AI failing a whole bunch, or maybe it'll be a big success. I don't know. I've only tried the one Sweep AI. The other thing it did so I didn't use Sweep to create this PR. Like, this was code I wrote. Like, you can watch your previous videos actually of me editing this code here. But the Sweep PR came in and reviewed it and found some potential issues here. Oh yeah, I think I didn't properly review my own PR. I think I left some commented code there. Yeah, none of these look like real issues. Right, like updating I had to upgrade it to 4.7.2 because that's what my client is using. So, so I don't know. Just see if the Sweep AI is any good. So I guess I'd merge this probably a little prematurely. But that's okay. We can go through and fix some of that up later. So let's go back and let's, I guess a couple other things before I get to this. If you do have questions you want me to answer in a future video, you can send an email to ask@SaturdayMP.com, or just leave some comments down below with a question, and I'll try to answer it in a future video. I'd love to turn this show more into a question and answer video show where I answer people's specific questions. So, all right, so let's Migrator, for those who don't know, you watch your previous videos, but it's basically an application that just runs a bunch of SQL scripts in a folder, kind of like the Ruby on Rails migration used to work. Well, still works. It was inspired by that, but this is before .NET had any of those technologies. So I wrote this, and it just runs raw SQL. So I think we have I don't remember. I set up a temporary folder just to run some migrations and stuff, but yeah, it just basically runs all the SQL files it finds in a folder, and then it stores it in a database. And the nice thing is it'll keep track of the migrations it's already ran, and we'll rerun the same ones. So again, a lot like a lot of the frameworks do now. In my case, I think Ruby on Rails was the first one I ever saw, something that would automate running of migrations. But a lot of the frameworks like Laravel does it now. I'm pretty sure there's something for Node. I don't do a lot of Node programming, so I don't know. You know, ASP.NET or .NET has that with Entity Framework. So let's just run. So a couple things before this. So this application does require a database to run. So, and to do that, I just been using the Docker SQL Server database just to run the test and to do my manual testing. I don't need these comments anymore, but I will need this and this here. So this is the command I run right now, but I think the first step before I ask Sweep to set up a test environment, I think I want to ask Sweep to set up a Docker config file to run this command for me, is what I want. So I'm curious to see how well it does with it. So let's just try it. Let's just dive right in here. Okay, so I go to the issues. All right, it's a new issue. You have to put Sweep here. How do I want to word this? So if I was doing this myself, I would create a Docker. Yeah, I would create a Docker compose file that just basically was the equivalent of this command. I find it a lot easier than running a Docker command. Like Docker compose is a lot nicer. So, but it would basically run the equivalent to this command is what it would do. So let's get that running. And the other thing we have to do is we have all these app configs here. We should really, we need to set this up so that you don't have to, well, maybe, see, we might have to set these up so that like we support some secrets or environment variables. We'll see. All right. So Sweep create. And so if you read the Sweep documentation, as far as I can tell, you kind of describe it like you would to a junior developer. So you need often more details in there than, excuse me, than you would normally put in there. To create SQL Server 2022 database for manual and automated testing of Migrator. Oh, let's wait. To use for manual and automated testing. To use when manually, when running, I'll just put running Migrator. Sure. And then here, last time I just put like one sentence and it did a pretty good job. But let's just make sure. So I think I want this command line. The Docker compose file should be similar to this Docker command. I guess we'll just try it like this. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. So apparently, too, you can create this, and then you should be able to go and edit the PR to tell it more stuff that you want. So let's. I think that's all I need. There is a sweep. I think it assigns that tag automatically. I don't need to do that. Sure, let's just throw it in there. Oh yeah, I guess I'm working towards version 1, so. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see if I type this in right. Okay, good. So sweep found it. Good, I did type that right. And then, yeah, so it does this little thing. You have unlimited sweep issues. I don't believe I have Sweep Pro, because Sweep Pro, if you look at the price, is very expensive. It's like $400. Oh, that's not it. Where are we? Like the pricing is 400. Man, I don't remember entering my credit card information, so I'm pretty sure I don't. Because that would be that's probably American too, and I'm in Canada, so that's like almost $600. Oof, that'd be pretty pricey. All right, so now we just have to wait a couple months. So last time this took, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. Like, I don't want to restart it. So, you've already indexed the repository, so hopefully it should be a little faster. So let's see what Sweep comes up with, because I guess if I was to write this, right, I would create. Oh, and I wouldn't even do it. Like, such a pain with the stupid solution files. And for some reason in Rider you can't switch to like a directory view. At least I don't know how. So I would actually open this up in Visual Studio Code. Apparently I've already opened this before. Oh yeah, because I was testing out the schemas and stuff. All right, yeah, so there's like, when you run this, you can use Migrator to generate a schema for an existing SQL Server database, and then I had, oh yeah, there's my migrations folder. And it'll just run all the files it finds in here, so. In this, you can configure the folder, but that's what it does. So, oh, okay, 25%. So if I was to do this, let's see, what would I do? I would go here, I'd create a docker compose.yaml file, right? And then I'd have to remember how docker compose. Yeah, so I guess in this case, I'd have to go look at my old Docker Compose, because I can never remember how it works. But I guess we have GitHub Copilot. Create a Docker Compose SQL Server 2022. Just get me started. Right, so yeah, so there it would be something like that. Sure, good enough. Boom. Latest, I would probably change this tag to some version that I actually wanted. Name the container, that's fine. To call it SQL Server. So if you've ever used a SQL Server Docker container before, you need this environment variable in there. And then I would set my password here. And what was my command line that I wanted, that I was running for testing? So that looks like pretty close. And they dump the data into a volume. Yeah, I guess I would create a volume. That was the one problem I did have before, but I would do it like, I would have my, how does it go again? Volumes, data down here, and then I would put the dot. Oh, how does this work again? Yeah, like I would, is it just can I just do data? Oh, I forget how the volume. Yeah, I think I would do something like this, but I forget exactly. Like, does this data have to match this? Yeah. I'm assuming this is the path. So if we go, oh, there's the PR. But if we go look at SQL Server Docker, and we go look at the SQL Server Docker image, all the tags. Where does it actually save its data? I'm just trying to think about how. Let's see, SQL Server Docker external volume for data. Okay, there we are. Yeah, persist your data. This is what we want. Right, so, okay, the data, your logs, your secrets, I guess. Yeah, we just want a data volume. Oh, I guess we could just save the whole var. Okay, we don't have to save the log and the data is a separate one. Yeah, so we just got to store this folder here. This is the folder inside the Docker container. I'm going to map it to that Docker volume. So it's not, yeah, they store the data there. We'll take the whole thing. Should we call it data? Anyway, yeah, this would be something what we would create, something like this. So now let's look to see what Sweep created. Oops. There we go. This is Sweep. So it creates. I'll say it's relevant. No, it did look at my app configs. That's interesting. Looked at the README. It looked in the tests and packages. The solution, I guess. Okay. So it's going to create this. Call it DB. That's fine. We get rid of this. This version thing isn't applicable anymore. I didn't tell it to create a volume. Right, and then you're going to, oh, I haven't really tested the console that much. I've just been trying the GUI, but this is kind of cool. I actually found the connection string in here. Oh, yeah, it even looked like I need the trusted certificate true. You need that for the new versions of SQL Server. Oh, interesting. Okay. This is the app config one. So what did it? Oh, it's at the port by default. That's fine. And this is our tests. Yeah, it needs to use master because we need to create the database and drop it. Okay. Huh. Yeah, the syntax checker and a linter. So I'm assuming eventually to validate it, hopefully once I have a proper build. Let's go look at the PR. Oh. Significant configuration changes. I wouldn't call these significant, but Okay, so to get Sweep to edit this pull request, you can comment below and Sweep will edit the PR. Comment on a file, Sweep will only modify the comment to file. Edit the original issue to get, okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm not too worried. That's the next thing I gotta do is figure out how I'm gonna use, like, I forget how environment files work, or the equivalent in .NET. Oh, another potential issue. Oh yeah, hard-coded. Yeah, that's fine. These are all the testing ones. That's cool. That's finding. That's pointing out hard-coded credentials. That's a good one to find. Yeah, it's a weak password. Yeah. Cool. Well, so far that's kind of impressive. Even for the PR review part of it, that was kind of interesting. Okay, so let's switch a branch. Let's see. This one. So if we check out this branch. Wait, how do I remote sweep this one? Check out that. Oh, what files do I need to? Oh, my Docker Compose YAML. Just get rid of it, I guess. I guess we could just stash it. So how do I commit? There we are. So the README, I'll just keep that, I think, if we can. So these three, let's just, can we stash this from here? Stash. Let's just, okay, so that's for these guys. Let's just get rid of, what's the best way to do this? I want to keep this file because I kind of like, so let's go to, okay, so these two guys, let's just put them outside of the application for now. Let's just put them right, sure, right on the desktop. There we go. Boom. That problem solved. This Docker Compose. Okay, now can I just stash this? Let's call this manual Docker Compose. Oh, geez, it's just stashed my README. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, because I always struggle with how to use Git. We're just going to use this interface because then at least I know it'll do what I want it to do. Just stash those, please. Thank you. Okay. Now, I was going to try and check this out. Hooray, we did it. Okay, so, but we don't, oh, right. Yeah, we're going to have to go to the, because we don't have a, a nice file there. Okay, so we do have this. Let's just run it just to see if it works, and then we'll clean it up a little bit. Oh, I got a bunch of extensions I need to update. Okay, just restart them all. Okay, so let's bring up my terminal. Let's just try it. Docker Compose up DB. Okay, cool. So it looks like it's up and running. Now if we bring up a database viewer, let's really thinking here. Oh, it's upgrading itself or something. Huh, cool. And then, so this is just set up to be a local host connection. We should be able to find, it won't have any of these. So if we refresh it, we're going to lose all these databases. This is from my old test, I think. So, yeah. That's really thinking hard there. So I should be able to, like this database doesn't exist. So if I go here and I just, let's create a new database. And we just call it like Migrator app. We just create that. Okay, so now that exists. And if I just run this command in there, oh, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, there we go. Fingers are really fat today. And I create those two, and I go look in the DBO. This will refresh. Oh, you're taking forever. Yeah, there's my table. Schema migrations. Okay, cool. I guess I really don't need to introspect the temp DB, so let's get rid of that. Oh, did I just pick all databases and all schemas? I guess the only downside with data grip and SQL Server is, for whatever reason, it takes a really long time. I guess there's a lot in the temp DB. Okay, let's just get rid of the temp DB. Schema, so we don't care about this one. Boom. No, it's really the only thing we care about. And then the DBO schema for them. Let's just get the whole thing. There we go. Hopefully that should be nice and fast. Okay, cool, done. Now, because I set this up as a volume, or actually, did I create a volume for it? No, it didn't. So, where is my, yeah, there's no volume here. So let's ask Sweep to create a volume for us. Because if we get rid of this, if we close this down, and then we like drop the container, and then we bring it up again, we should, I think we're going to lose, we're not going to have this Migrator app anymore. Oh, we'll let it finish loading, I guess, here first. Okay. Yeah, so there's no databases, and if we go look into the schemas, yeah, there's no Migrator app, so we can just get rid of that for now. Okay, so let's ask Sweep to, so we're in the, this is the PR, yeah, okay. Okay, how do I just put any old comment? Comment below and Sweep can edit the entire PR. Okay, so let's take a look. Documentation. How to use Sweep. You can create a fast comment by making a review comment. This comment will only modify the file it's being commented on. Oh, okay, interesting. You can create a slow comment by making an issue comment. This comment can perform. Okay, that flashed by pretty quick. Add a test. Okay, so I don't even have to say sweep or anything. I just have to put it in there, it looks like. Okay, let's try it. Please store the no, what's the best way to do that? Word this. Please create a Docker volume to store the data so it persists when the container is destroyed. So the data persists when the container is destroyed. Okay, maybe this is please update the docker compose.yaml file to use a volume, a Docker volume. Yeah, because we don't want a volume that maps to my hard drive. We want a Docker volume. Okay. Did I spell compose wrong? All right, let's see what happens. All right, okay, cool. So it puts the little eyes. I guess that's a little hand there. I thought that it almost looks like his ear is like moving the broom. Oh, okay, cool. It's kind of cool the way it updates it. It's a pretty, I do like the sweeps, like kind of integration with GitHub. Like that is pretty sweet. I guess it would not surprise me if, I guess GitHub Copilot's working on something similar, but theirs is in some fancy beta phase or something that I don't have access to, but yeah, this is pretty nice. So I don't know. Sweep is definitely competing. Yeah, what's that GitHub? Don't they have GitHub Copilot PR? Is it just reviews that all it does? Oh yeah, GitHub. Yeah, resolving issues with AI, so yeah, okay. So I think Sweep, you're going to be competing with this, right? So oh, interesting. Yeah, it fills out all the changes and everything. That's kind of cool. This may or may not be helpful. I do like how they got in the bots and stuff to be like, hey, we make mistakes. This might not be what you want. I think a lot of this will be useful. Like it'll fill in. Like you're still going to need to know what you're looking for, but it gives you a great. It's like scaffolding, I think. So again, going back to Ruby on Rails, but other places do too. But it's like scaffolding on a higher level. So, which I think is kind of interesting. I wonder if I shouldn't have just done it for. I just needed the one file. Maybe that would have been faster. I don't know if this is any. You take a while, Sweep. It would have been faster for me just to write this thing. Once I just refresh this. add that volume thing in there. Okay, we can stop this while we're waiting. Add more commits by pushing. Oh yeah, right, okay. Soup. What is this? Oh, that just takes us to sweep. Oh, let's sweep it a little more while we wait. So I guess the nice thing is, like, if I wasn't recording a video, I'd go off and do actual other work or send emails and stuff like that while I'm waiting for this. I guess the only downside might take you out of the flow a little bit. Yeah, it just installs as a GitHub app, so it was actually really easy to install. Yeah, I do like the idea. I kind of like this is almost like a little more focused too. Like they're like, hey, there's simple chores you could do. Maybe sweep could be helpful for that. So maybe I'm not using sweep for the right stuff. So, yeah, I can't really do images. Cool. Well, a bunch of people editing it. So do I try and set up another sweep one now? What should I do? Oh, it's taking forever. You're really thinking hard. Maybe I'm low in the priority queue too, because I don't have the paid version. Because the other change I want to make is I want to add to the app let's go to Visual Studio Code here. So in here, well, do I need to make? So I have the GUI they have the app config. So we have like this connection string which has passwords in it. That should, like, this is fine because it's for user stuff. It would be nice to have, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this now. So if I was to use this in actual development, okay, well, I would use the console, but it has the same problem. It has an app config with these in here. I would, like, I think I would just leave this set up as for development, and then, yeah, because people that are going to run it, how are they going to, they're just going to copy this file somewhere, and then they're going to have to edit it. Like, these are fine. These are just paths. Nobody cares. So I like to have my config file set up so when you use it in development, it just works. And then during the deployment process, then this will get changed. Or it'll use an environment variable or something like that. Because I really try to minimize the developers, how many things they have to set. Oh, you're still thinking, wow. I didn't think that would be that hard of a change. I guess I probably should have put that right in the file. Refresh it one more time. You still thinking? Okay. So I would. This is. I think I've been calling it Migrator app. I guess I should decide if you're just running this locally for just as for development for testing. We want Migrator app and then Migrator test for the actual test suite, I think. So I guess the other thing I should do is once I have that Docker image set up, I should also create a little script or something that will initialize the database for you and create a Migrator app with the schema migrations in there. That would be pretty useful. Okay, so I guess we could try another. Okay, because once we have, because my goal was to get this Docker set up, and then I also wanted it to create, well, I guess we can ask it if we could create an automated build and run all the tests. So let's create another one of those. Let's see if it'll handle that. We'll get 2 of these going at the same time. I have a million sweep issues open. So new issue, sweep, create GitHub action to, so I'm going to create a GitHub action to do what? To build and to compile and run the unit tests. The GitHub action compile Migrator. And, ooh. I guess for now, let's just set up the action to compile it in debug mode and run the tests, and then we can work on the actual deployment, like compiling it for release later. We'll create a separate one for that maybe, or maybe a flag in the existing CI. Or adjust the existing CI to compile for debug and then compile for release, because usually when you compile for release, you don't compile your unit tests. Well, I'll just say, let's compile Migrator and run all the unit tests. The tests require that SQL Server 2022 database require so I wonder if I leave it like this, how it would set this up. You can find the connection strings in the app config files. And what is that test file called? Or what is my, in the Migrator? I just call it Migrator tests. Okay. Okay. Sure. Let's see what it does. So yeah, if you've used Sweep for something else, let me know. I'm curious. Okay, so let's close a bunch of these things down. Just thinking, let's go back to our other. So finally figured. Wow, you were thinking super hard. I wonder if there's a way to cancel this. Does it say anything here? Documentation. Stop. How do I stop it? Usage. Show by example, be specific. Okay, I don't know how to stop it. I think it's stuck. At least this one you have a progress bar. Relevant files. Okay, found the app config. Migrator project. I don't know what's looking in the Migrator engine. Maybe for database stuff. Let's look at the GUI, the designer, for some reason. Sure, app configs. Yeah, because I told it to. Shouldn't need the Migrator one, but you'd be interested in this. Well, not even really a GUI one, the test one, I guess. So, okay, let's. Okay, finally figured it out. Okay, it took all that time to add this one line in here. Cool. Original, sure. App config. I don't know what's changed in there, but yes, I wonder if sweep would be a lot better once I have this build going, because then I can test itself against the build. That's interesting. Update the connection string. Use the container host and port. Well, that's fine. That's what you already did. Yeah, port's already there. Feet update one file. What is that? Oh. Okay, so are you done? You've committed the change. Wait, why did this whole did you change the spacing? I wonder why it's marking those whole files has changed. All right, but there's the volume. Yeah, and I put the var options just same as MSQL. Okay, that's cool. Well, sweep is kind of, yeah, this could be really handy, especially for like open source maintainers. And like, I'm curious to if you just like say update these versions of update my, like kind of like a dependent bot or something, but maybe a little more advanced. Oh, okay, so what's it going to do? So it's going to create the GitHub directory. Great. I create a workflow, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's going to create a build and test file. All right, so only into main. So I'll have to change this for releases, but this is a great start. It's good. I'll put Windows, the first specific version I want in here. I guess I could tell it. Okay, it does grab that one. Okay, that's cool. Oh, it says about health check. I guess is useful. So I don't know if I like it that it's using this service or if I prefer it. I guess it doesn't know about the Docker one that we created here yet, so checks it out. It installs .NET 6, which is wrong. That should be 4. It's going to build it. It does build it for release. I guess you could run the test and release, I think. I have to see how I had that set up. And then it sets up a connection string. Right, which I don't really... What did you change here? Oh, you just put user ID instead of UID. Okay. Okay, so this one's not correct. There's a couple things I have to check. But again, I think this is kind of a great scaffolding. Like, blah. Like, it just spit it all out. Oh, does it actually run the test? Yeah, it does the .NET tests. We're using N units, so I don't know if that matters. No build. Yeah, because I guess we already built it there. No restore. Oh, yeah, I did the restore up here. So we can kind of almost skip. I guess you could skip this step just because that's fine. But yeah, this is the wrong .NET version. So don't think this would work. This would fail. Validating. Yeah, so that's the only downside. I kind of wish it would run, maybe because it doesn't exist yet, but it'd be nice if it ran this GitHub action and was like, oh, this fails. Okay, so let's go look at PR. Rollback changes. Yeah, I don't know why you changed that sweep, so. Oh, interesting. Oh, but there's no, it didn't create the actual. Oh, it didn't create the actual workflow file. Oh, that's kind of a shame. It's basically telling me to do this. Huh, that's weird, because this one actually, did it create? It created the file. Well, okay. Well, that was kind of interesting. Test a sweep. I was still thinking sweep. I don't know. It's still got a ways to go, that's for sure. So let's go. Oops. All right, where's my issues? Maybe I need to put more detail in here. I wonder if it failed because it tried to run this touch. Because I'm on a Windows machine. Yeah. Huh, interesting. Okay. Well, that was kind of my playing around with sweep. It takes a while. I don't know how much. I'll probably keep playing around with it just because it's fun to play around with. But it definitely takes a while, which is kind of unfortunate. It's not the greatest user experience, I guess, when maybe if I refresh this, it'll be done. Oh, okay, so it is resolved. Oh, it just updated. Okay, I just hadn't updated the message, so this change was actually pretty cool. This one worked pretty good. Looked like I told it to do the thing. It did this, so I'm sure this looks like it would work. And then this pull request 8. I don't think this is going to work. Like, it's got the wrong. It's only got one file change. It didn't create the GitHub workflow for me. For some reason, it just edited the app config. Yeah, that was weird. So this junior developer didn't do a great job at all. So I guess this is where AI got confused. Maybe I need a better description in the AI. Like a lot of this just is. I find when the AI like comment on my pull request or GitHub issues, like it always puts this is crucial for maintaining security or for modernizing the code. It just puts in this garbagey generic line, which is not very useful. So, oh, okay, cool. Well, I hope you found that interesting as well. I guess, like I said, if you played around with Sweep AI, let me know, and maybe we can, share some thoughts, or you can ask me a question, specific one, or come and jump on the show or something. Maybe we can pair on a using Sweep AI or something. That would be great. I think this is interesting. It has potential. It's going to have to compete with GitHub's version of it. So I don't know how well that's going to go for the poor Sweep people. But I really like the user interface was great. It needs some tweaking. Those AIs just don't. Yeah, when they get lost, they get really lost, and it's really hard to get them back on track. I find, like ChatGPT, I've had conversations with it. It's mostly just software development questions. When it gets confused, it gets really confused. It keeps spitting out incorrect code after incorrect code, and then I just have to kind of shut that chat down and open up a new one, kind of like refresh it. Like, hey, forget everything you said before. You're way lost in the weeds now. So this is fun. I'm really excited for all the AI that's coming up. I think it's gonna eventually, one or two of these will be incredibly useful, and we'll use it a lot, even if it is just does handle a lot of these chores. That would be great. So I'm going to keep playing around with this. So feel free to come check out Saturday Morning Productions here. You'll probably see Sweep AI. I've installed it for all of these, all my open source ones, but I haven't actually tried it on any other ones. So maybe I'll try to update some dependencies. I wonder. The other thing I noticed, a lot of these AIs that work great with Python and newer modern programming languages, but like Python languages and just newer APIs. But I tend to work in a lot of older stuff for .NET, and this is like a Xamarin .NET MAUI app. Like I don't know how well it's going to handle any of those. Sometimes I just wish I worked in Python, and then all this stuff would work great. So yeah, check those out. If you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to leave comments or pull requests or issues in any of these open source projects. If you like these videos or any of the open source projects, we do have, you can sponsor, you can send a couple dollars to Saturday Morning Productions, to myself. Saturday Morning Productions is basically just me. And there's some reward tiers, which I don't have any good ideas for reward tiers, but if you do have one, let me know. That'd be great. Just throw some money in, I don't know, throw you in the newsletter. Maybe I'll start writing a newsletter, or put you in the README file or something like that. That would be great. Yeah, and thanks again. Sorry I missed a video last week. I don't know, is there anyone that actually watches a video every week? I missed a video last week because I was at Mender. I helped out at MenderCon. Plus, I also hosted a weekly dev chat in real life in Edmonton here. So last week was a busy week, and I tried to record a video, but I just didn't get around to it, and kind of just gave it I was burnt out. I basically crashed and burned after MenderCon on Thursday night, and then slept in a bunch Friday. So yes, and then I hosted an in-person event for weekly dev chat. Had to contend with the Oilers game going on at the same time. So it was an interesting week last week. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you again next week. Take care.